I've been wanting to build a Mini Itx PC for a while now, mostly because it intrigues me that you can make a really powerful gaming PC in such a small form factor. So I wanted to try it for myself. So I wrote down all the things that I will be doing with the PC just to get the best parts for me. For example, I'll be mostly playing 1440p gaming. Sometimes I plug the PC to my living room TV just to play some video games with the friends. So I needed to do some 4K gaming as well. And most importantly, I plan to shoot a lot of videos for this YouTube channel, so I need to be able to edit my videos on the PC as well. So after doing a few days of research, I found out all the parts that are best for me, and I planned the build. The budget for the build was $2,000 USD or $3,000 AUD. For the case, I was considering the Fractal Terra at first, mainly because I really like the minimal, clean design and the wood accent. But unfortunately, you cannot really water cool your CPU in the Fractal Terra, and that limits your CPU options. So I ended up going with the A4H2O from Lian and then case. This case has almost perfect fitments, allowing you to fit a 240mm AIO and up to 32cm GPU, while still being very slim with a minimal clean look. I personally really like this case, but I wish the build quality was better because my unit came with the side panels bent a little bit, so I had to bend them back to normal. Also, I wish the side panels were more tight. Other than that, I'm really impressed with this case. For the motherboard, I went with the MSI MPG B650i Edge Wi-Fi, mainly because it was the cheapest DDR5 Mini ITX motherboard I could find. Seriously, the price of these Mini ITX motherboards can get really ridiculous. It also has all the features that I wanted, like Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3. There are plenty of ports at the back as well, which is impressive for a motherboard this size. There's a second SSD slot at the back as well, which is really good for future-proofing in case I need more storage down the road. The CPU I chose is the Ryzen 7800X 3D. This is the fastest gaming CPU you can buy today that will also do a good job in video editing and other productivity apps, while being reasonably priced. It is also much more efficient than the Intel CPUs, giving it lower temperatures, which makes it suitable for a small case like the one we're using today. So this CPU is really perfect for this build. To cool the 7800X3D, I chose a 240mm AIO from Corsair. I went for a cheaper AIO because you don't really need anything special to cool the 7800X3D. And you will not be able to see the AIO, so getting one with a screen is just wasting money. I know that some AIOs have bad fitments with Mini ITX motherboards, but in this case, the Corsair fit perfectly. For the RAM, I picked a 6400Hz CL32 DDR5 of 32GB. I found that 32GB is the sweet spot to have some future-proofing and not running into any issues with current applications. The specific RAM I picked though was actually a mistake. With a 7800X3D, going for anything higher than 6000 won't give you any more performance, so I recommend going with a CL30 or 32 6000Hz instead, and saving some money. For storage, I picked the PNY 2TB PCIe 4 with 5400 MB write speed and 6000 read speed. 2TB is plenty of storage to install all my applications and games, and some headroom in the future. I generally keep all my videos in an external SSD because it gives me the flexibility to work on the videos from any device, and for that reason I won't be needing anything more than 2TB. I also avoided the PCIe 5 SSDs because they don't give you any noticeable speed difference and the prices are just crazy. So I don't think there's any point going with a PCIe 5 SSD, at least for now. When I did a quick calculation of the parts, I only needed around 650 watts from the power supply. But I was seriously not able to find any SFX power supplies in stock, and the only option I had was the Cooler Master 850 watt SFX in white. So that is the one I picked. The cables of the Cooler Master were not very flexible, making it very difficult to build with. So I do recommend getting custom cables for this case, if you can. But with some pressure, you can fit anything, even these stiff cables from Cooler Master. Possibly the most important part of this build is the graphics card. I needed to really perform at 1440p and give me playable frames at 4K and not break the bank at the same time. But with the current GPU prices, that is not possible to have. So the best choice for me was the Nvidia 4070 Ti. I spent a lot of time considering other options like the 7900 XT and 4070 Ti Super, but the 7800 XT does not perform well in ray tracing titles, which is something that I'll be doing. And the 4070 Ti Super is $300 more expensive in Australia, pricing it closer to a 4080, so that is not worth it for me. Yes, the ideal GPU in this case would be the 4080, but the pricing is just ridiculous at the moment, being $600 more expensive than the 4070 Ti in Australia. The only thing that concerns me about the 4070 Ti is the 12 GB of VRAM, because some games are already using more than that at max settings. And I don't think you should be worried about VRAM when paying $1,100 AUD for a GPU. So it goes to show how bad the GPU situation really is. GPU politics aside, the build is now complete. So I have installed Windows and all the drivers. I did not have any issues with the build except for the power supply. The issue with the power supply was that it was the loudest part of the PC, sitting around 40 decibels at idle and 55 decibels at full load. So I ended up returning it and getting the Corsair SFL 1000, which is almost completely silent in this build. I won't need the 1000 watts, but it was the only one available. Having some future proofing is nice as well. As for how this PC performs, it crushed 1440p as expected, hitting around 200 FPS in most competitive titles. At 4K, it did good as well. It is not a true 4K card because of the limited 12 GB of VRAM, but turning on the LSS and turning down the settings a little bit will get you more than 60 FPS in most games, which is good enough for me. Video editing is a breeze as well. I'm able to scroll through all my timeline and export videos in a breeze, and I've had absolutely no issues with it. It's exactly what I wanted. It is crazy to me that you can build such a powerful PC in such a small size that will crush anything that you throw at it. So I'm really happy with this case, and it turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please do like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thank you.